Hi there, Crafty Pals, Louise with you today. Thanks so much for checking out this video. It's another in the series featuring the Vicki Boutin Flower Emporium collection, and I have previously done a layout for Kidaholic Kits which featured a piece of corrugated cardboard. It was a great fun layout. I loved the layers. I loved how when you distressed the edges it really gave this interesting textured background. And so I'm going to replicate that today. Now, the cardboard that I use is simply a piece of the packaging, so the pizza box packaging that comes from your craft supplies. So if you subscribe to Kidaholic Kits or you've ordered anything in a 12 by 12, it'll come in this pizza box, and that's what I use to make my pieces of corrugate. Now, to peel off that top layer, what you're going to do is just add lots of water and sort of smudge with your hands or your fingers that top layer and peel it all back. Off camera, I've done most of that and distressed the edges along my bottom layer. So you can see I've cut that sort of more foresty green background. I've mounted the blue on top with the distressed edges. I'm going to layer my corrugate between that, and then I'm going to use this smaller piece of the inner green on top of that as well. Now, definitely encourage you to use a bit stronger adhesive than double-sided tape when you're using this corrugate. So I'm again just using tacky glue, which is what I use most of the time, and really just giving that bit of extra stick to make sure that it's going to hold on that background. Alright, now that I have my background and I love the way this looks, I have really not actually planned any of this layout except for that part. So I'm going to go with some of my recently printed photos and just see what inspires me. And this one is of Master Z, and he, while we were watching the State of Origin, so here in Queensland, Australia, we have a football game called State of Origin. It's Queensland versus New South Wales, if you're not familiar. And it's like a big thing to see who wins. So the kids are very excited because they get to stay up and watch the game, and Master Z decided that he was going to pull out a box of Lego, and of course in winter in Australia it's freezing, so the dogs are inside as well. And I just thought it was a really cute little memory of something within his life. It's this watching an important game of football with his favourite toy and enjoying the company of his animals. So really fun little memory, and the green screen works really well with the green background that I've got going on. So lots of fun with this one. Alright, now it's harder and harder at the moment to choose elements to embellish with. I think I've definitely taken a fair chunk out of this kit, so getting a little bit more creative in how I use these stickers and bits and pieces. So you can see I've pulled out some twine, and the reason for that is because I had to actually cover up this hole in the corrugate that I used, and it actually, I think this came out really well. I love the little leaves tucked in the back there. I love the bit of twine, and it gives the title something to be really anchored against. And it came out actually something that I didn't plan, but really enjoyed the final result. So having somewhere to sort of layer these titles and slightly different to that visual triangle that I would normally try to follow when I'm creating my layouts. Alright, of course I always try to encourage you to at least add a description of who's in the photo and the year or the date or what was going on, so that anybody who's looking at your layouts in the future can have at least an indication of who it might be, because things do get lost in translation. I know I've looked back through albums from my grandparents, and things can be mixed up as to which child is who and who they belong to and what they were doing. So yeah, definitely try to encourage you to, even if you write it on the back of your layout, at least it's somewhere written there so that anyone who's looking at this in the future can see what's going on. Alright, now off camera I had put this aside and had to think a little bit more about it, and you can see I've put some rub-ons into the background. So I've put a little bit behind the twine, I've put a little bit behind the layers, and I felt like it just needed something in this kind of left-hand side to bring that visual triangle to a close. I had that top point in the right-hand side, the photo, and just really balancing this out so that it looks finished. And this is where I'm just pulling a few little of the chipboard pieces, lots of leaves. There seems to be a lot of leaves in this. Whether I've just used more flowers or not enough leaves, that could just be my style of scrapping. But just adding a few more bits and pieces, a few descriptive words, and that is essentially going to be this layout finished. But I loved this one. I think it came together really well. Sorry, I do add one more thing. I like to just put a little bit of black if I have used black in terms of the leaves, and in this case the documented. A couple of little stamps in these stars because I think it worked in really well. So that is complete, and we're going to call this one done. I hope you enjoyed that little corrugate technique, and thank you for all your kind comments and for watching these videos. Happy scrapping!